Hi, I'm Cheryl Whitesitt, and I'm going to share with you my Grandma Davy's bread recipe. She was born in the late 1800s, and I was blessed to have her in our home for the first 8 years of my life, and I learned how to make egg noodles and bread. So to make Grandma's best bread that everybody still loves, it's a favorite today, you have to start by wearing one of Grandma's aprons. From there, you have to use Grandma's bread bowl. In Grandma's bread bowl, I've already added about 8 cups of flour, because you see, you measure by the size of the bowl, and people always want to know the recipe. So there's approximately 8 cups of flour in here, approximately 3/4 to a tablespoon of salt, and approximately 3 teaspoons of dry yeast. From there, you just see I've got that all in there, and I've got Grandma's fork for mixing it, and I've got 3 cups of warm water. You don't want it too hot or it'll kill the yeast. So now everyone wants to know, well, how warm is warm? Well, it's a field that I grew up knowing, but so for your benefit, I actually measured that temperature, took a thermometer, and it's 120 to 130 degrees. So I'm just gonna mix it here with my fork, and until it, is just ready here for me to knead. I don't know how many of you have made bread and kneaded bread, but kneading bread is one of my favorite things to do. So you can see it's a little on the wet side here. Well, that's no problem, because you always measure sort of, kind of, right? So with that, I'm gonna add some more flour. So once it starts pulling away from the bowl, it's time to start kneading the dough. And like I said, I love to knead the dough, whether it's just the feel-good part of knowing what the result is. Some days, because I have a job that I work in my office, sometimes it's a stress reliever to just knead the dough. Now it's kind of sticking to my hands a little bit more than I'd like, so I just take the bowl over to the flour drawer, and I do a flour drawer, and I sprinkle a little bit more flour. And I'm actually going to knead this until it squeaks, because when it squeaks, then you know it's going to rise into good bread. So after about 10 minutes of some good hearty kneading and spinning the bowl, I forgot to mention that before, that's an important part, I've got this lovely bread, and I'm just going to cover that, and I'm going to let that sit and rise for probably an hour or so, or whenever I start smelling that yeast all the more working. So here we are. The bread has been rising for a little over an hour. You can see now how it's more than doubled in size. You can see the air in it and whatnot. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch it down. That's what I'm just using Grandma's terms. It's always the terms that I have. I don't know what terms they use nowadays, but you can see again, I'm turning the bowl, and oh, I wish you could smell that yeasty, wonderful fragrance here. I'm going to cover it again with my towel and let it rise for about another half hour. So what I've done is I prepared my pans, and I prepared 3. They'll make 3 nice loaves here. And you can use, grease them, as we called them, with butter. Or of course, when I grew up, we always used lard. So I just like to get some flour on my hands here. And I'm going to take this and punch it down again. Here we are. I'm going to get this pinched into hopefully even loaves here. And so I've got 3 loaf pans like that, And I will take my towel and cover them up again for like about another half hour or so, and then I'll be putting them in the oven. Here we are. The bread has risen in the loaf pans for like a half hour. Okay, you can see how they've like doubled in size again, and I've turned the oven on 350. So now I'm going to put those in and bake them, and I'll be back in a little bit. So here we are, 3 loaves of bread hot out of the oven